Stephen Watkins has not given up the fight for his children. His two sons, Alexander and Christopher, still in Poland with their mother, despite the fact that there's a Canada-wide warrant for her arrest, and she's on the RCMP's most wanted list. She won't give them back, and a Polish court ordered the boys to stay with her, despite international treaties banning the parental abduction their mom used to get them out of Canada. Now, Stephen has organized a group of left-behind parents to lobby for more legal action, and we'll show you how you can support that group in just a few moments, but let's bring him on now. He's joining us from Toronto. Mr. Watkins, thank you so much for everything you're doing here.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Now, there were a number of people with us tonight who no doubt weren't with us last year when we first brought you on, so if you could just give us a brief update. Where were we last year? Have we made any progress since then?
As far as returning my sons?
Yeah.
Well, I did have an appeal in the Hague courts in Poland, and they just dismissed the matter and didn't really provide us a reason why. I tried to file in the upper courts, in the Supreme Courts of Poland, and Poland has made some rule now that they will no longer hear any cases from any nations in the upper courts. So really, I do not have a say in their legal system whatsoever. They've locked us out. I can't even bring in the fact that my ex-father-in-law has been found guilty in the Canadian criminal courts, or the fact that the judge also found my ex-wife guilty of abduction too. So I have no voice in bringing that into Poland. So now I'm pursuing the matter, and I have to take Poland to court to the EU courts.
Mr. Watkins, when's the last time you saw your boys?
That would be the last time I went down last year around, I think it was around May, just before then, and when I had my appeal. And that's the last time I've been able to see them, and communication is very rough.
Is there any Polish court that would prevent you from having visitation rights? I'm not suggesting you shouldn't have custody. That's not the issue. I'm just wondering about the idea of you being able to at least see your boys more frequently. Is any Polish court trying to stop you from that?
No, but what's happening in Poland is the fact that while my sons were in hiding and they were under the radar, the children's school, the Polish school, actually took my ex-wife to court due to child protection concerns, and even her parental rights have been limited in Poland. She's fighting to get her own parental rights. So as I know it, my sons are ward of the state, a ward of the country, because they've been assigned a court guardian. But they've left my children in her care. So this is a very strange case, obviously. It doesn't make sense with all the evidence and all the information and all the court cases we've had here that they would not just send my sons home. It's incredibly frustrating. And the reason why I'm here today is if I have a case and it's very solid, it's a very solid case. There's not many cases, I don't know of any other case in Canada where there's been a criminal trial and it's been completed. If it's this hard for me to return my sons, absolutely it's going to be hard for so many others in Canada that are going through the same thing. And our voices are now coming out. We're working together through an organization that we formed together called Canada's iCHAPEAU. And there's a lot to this, obviously. So I'm hoping that someone out there, I'm hoping that the Prime Minister of Canada watches this. He said that he couldn't say anything about my case because it was in the courts. Well, at this point, you know, the fact that the criminal courts have said something here in Canada should be enough for that to raise a concern. But at this point,
Mr. Watkins, if you could just let me in here to ask a couple of questions that I know our viewers would want. We talk about the Prime Minister. Nationally, we want the Prime Minister to get active. Yes, but we have a system of so-called Westminster system, various cabinet ministers with responsibilities. Is this foreign affairs? Is this John Baird's file?
My understanding, no, I don't think it's John Baird. It would be, I'm trying to remember, Alonsi, I think is Minister Alonsi.
Which department is that, sir?
Would be Foreign Affairs.
Okay.
And that's the minister. I've spoken to her on the phone. And really, I'm not getting any assistance or help from them. the onus is on my shoulder to bring another nation to court. I don't understand this.
Well, I don't either. I mean, our country has strong connections with many countries and very strong connections with Poland, so there should be someone at the cabinet level who could speak to this. And it's not just about you, sir, of course. Naturally, you're concerned about your own family, but you've stepped up. You've been a great Canadian because you're helping other Canadians who have similar problems. Do we have any idea of how many people this affects in Canada? How many Canadians are trying to get their kids back from overseas?
I can't tell you that because Canada is not tracking any of these cases. Unlike the United States or the UK, where they know how many cases are going out of the country and coming into the country, for some reason Canada is not tracking in these international cases, only the ones that are coming in, and obviously not tracking who's compliant and who's not.
You know, when I think about all of these legal actions that you've been forced to launch, naturally these things cost money. You've got some means clearly to do this, but for most people, they're just maxed out. They can't afford to fight these fights.
I'm maxed out too. You know, you scrounge out for it. I have not met another parent dealing with international abduction that hasn't passed the $100,000 mark in trying to fight. And I don't understand why the onus is so much on parents to fork out so much money in legal actions. Where's the support of the government? Why is it we have treaties? Why do we have this? So obviously we're raising concerns of this.
And the thing is that you've got Canadian court orders behind you. The courts have adjudicated here. Once they've adjudicated, there ought to be an enforcement mechanism, because a judgment with no teeth is a bad joke.
I think the Hague Convention does not work, because you're looking at cases, even if you get a return order, and I knew this myself, even if Poland said, okay, your sons are coming home, I would still have to fight Poland just to get them to enforce their own order. And it doesn't make any sense. And we see that from other cases in Canada and the United States. There's a high-profile case out of the United States. Same thing, a lady has 2 orders out of Greece, and Greece is not enforcing their own order.
Stephen Watkins, we've got to bring you back, and we've got to get this to the attention of the appropriate minister and, of course, to the Prime Minister. Thank you so much for what you're doing. We hope our Sun viewers get involved with iCHAPEAU. Thank you very much.
Thank you, please. Thank you very much.